Hey, Sam, it's Mr. Block. It's Saturday morning, and just up early because my junior is taking the ACT, and so we got up at 6:30, and she's off. Made her breakfast, and so now I'm here at school to answer a couple of kids' questions. So I'm going to make a couple of videos for you guys. You asked me yesterday afternoon about number 10, and so number 10, I'm assuming this is speed problems two, the one that I've got up here on the screen, the one about the Apollo 13 accident. And so what this problem is doing is getting you guys ready because we're going to study this a little bit in the spring. And I want you guys to know a little bit about it, but it also is a very good problem from a standpoint that it's not as confusing as all the words might suggest. It just needs you to remember that you just need, when you get a word problem, sometimes it's just good just to sit down and draw out what they're doing, and then you'll see very clearly, hopefully, that the problem is not as difficult. So let's just take a look. So when we look at the problem, what they say is that the Apollo 13 astronauts leave Earth and they're going to the moon. And they leave Earth in their rocket, and somewhere in the middle, there's an accident. And what happens is there's a bit of an explosion. Some of the aircraft gets damaged, and they lose a ton of power. And it's really a very difficult situation for the three astronauts there. But what the problem says is that on their way to the moon, they have an accident. And that accident occurs 137,000 miles from the moon. Okay, so you can see how I'm just taking the words and I'm drawing out a picture. And then it's that the mission control decides that they cannot turn around, but instead they're going to go around the moon and then back to Earth. And so the rest of this trip goes like this. We'll make it a dotted line if we have to, around the moon and then back to Earth. Okay? And then the problem says the distance between the Earth and the moon is 238,000 miles. We can put that right there. All right. And then they ask us, how long from the accident does it take for them to do this path? And so now we got this problem set. I've already told you that most of the time you can always use the four-column method. So let's see if we can use the four-column method. So if we look at this picture, we say, okay, wait a second. They have given us a whole bunch of distances. What is the distance traveled by the aircraft from the time of the accident to the time they come back? Well, that's D is equal to 137,000 plus 238,000, or 375,000 miles. Okay, so that's our D. They tell us the velocity. The velocity is 25,000 miles. And they tell us the time is what they ask us to find. So now we're back to where we were in our four-column method. Because we have D, we have B, and we need T. So we write B equals D over T. A little early still. All right, and then we can write down 25,000 equals 375,000 divided by T. Okay. Now remember that this is where we say we've got to do some algebra. Okay, we've got T on the bottom, and we're going to need T by itself and on the top. And so the first thing we do whenever we see this problem like this is we multiply by T. What does that do? Well, T divided by T becomes 1, and so we can cross them out. They cancel. And then if I rewrite this, it's just T times 200 or 25,000 equals 375,000. All right. And to get now T by itself, what do we do? Well, we do the opposite of multiplication. We divide by 25,000 on both sides, and we're going to get T equals to 15. All right. And since this is in miles per hour, our velocity, we know that our time will come out in hours. All right. I know that I basically have just done the problem for you. But what I want you to notice is just think back. How did we figure this out? Well, we stayed calm. We drew out a very simple picture. It really will only take a little bit. And then we used that calmness and the picture to get into our system. And you should know that that's the skill set that we're trying to build here, and problem solving. So it will continue on for the rest of your life if you just use this system of drawing a little picture and then figuring things out. That's our goal for the year. And I hope this helps you, and I hope you're not working too hard this weekend because it's a pretty nice weekend. Talk to you soon.